Hello everybody, I'm Jack Barnwell on beautiful Mackinac Island. We thought we'd take a little bit of time this evening. I've been planting with my crew all day, but we wanted to continue to bring y'all along for the ride in beautiful island garden culture here. And we're at the site of the Mackinac Island Botanical Trail this evening. This is a project that I had the great honor to be involved with, and I got to design and plant this entire botanical creation in the trail here that kind of leads from the fort to beautiful Arch Rock. So I thought it'd be fun to jump on my bike, take y'all for a ride with me through the trail, show you a few of the neat little sights and sounds that are happening in the trail right now. And so let's check it out. It feels so much cooler and nicer in the forest as soon as you get in this deep shade. So right now we're riding through predominantly cedar forest. There's a few beautiful ironwoods, and you'll see the botanical trail kind of serpentines through on and off of this blacktop bicycle trail. So we're able to take people off of the trail and with all these really neat interpretive panels, benches, and kind of weave their way through the forest on the way to Arch Rock. And along the way, the forest changes dramatically. So the island is home to an incredible array of diversity in the forest. We go from deep, deep, dark cedar forests to open, fields and meadows. There's all kinds of beautiful hardwood stands that are just incredible. And so because of those different lightnesses through the forest, you get all kinds of different plant material and habitats and stuff like that throughout the forest. And we tried to sort of plant so many of them through this botanical trail, so you really get to experience so much of Mackinac throughout this, half-mile trail to Arch Rock. So for example, here at this little turnoff where we stopped here, we've got a lot of plants that, again, this is a relatively young planting, but you can see a lot of things that we have put in here, like all these ferns and meadow rue, blue cohoon, Solomon seal, and a lot of this stuff will fill in and do its thing, and I'll show you a lot more of these cool little planting drifts, but I just noticed this stunning little bouquet of trillium coming up in the woods here. Look at it coming up right in this little bed of moss. And trillium is actually our state of Michigan state wildflower, and a beautiful, beautiful plant that is a pretty fascinating plant, really. So the trillium has developed a sweet little hard jelly-like coating on its tiny little seed that is very attractive to ants. And so ants will crawl up into that trillium, grab that seed, and take it down into their burrow to share with their family and everything. And they love it. They feast on that, that jelly-like coating, and then they get rid of that seed. They discard it into their kind of garbage heap in the corner of their ant colony deep down in the ground. So that seed is literally planted in the most fertile, perfect little location, and that's how trilliums spread. It's so cool. So they've developed a really smart way to propagate themselves and spread throughout the entire forest here on the island. We love them a lot here, and we planted over 8,000 of them through the botanical trail here. So definitely a spring favorite up here on the island, one of my favorites for sure. And another neat thing, so we've got all these interpretive panels that are really beautiful, that talk about all the different plants and history and stuff like that of the island, and people that made a marked difference and did some profound, botanical studies or botanical discovery here on the island. But this panel is pretty cool too. This one's called Sounds of the Forest. And we've got this beautiful panel here. This is all made out of cedar. These cedar trees were cut throughout the Botanical Trail when we had to make the trail and carve out some of these little walkways. And all the cedar was harvested to make all of these signs and panels and benches and everything, which is also very cool. But this is a crank-powered little interpretive panel here. So you crank this up
till the message plays.
And that friendly little voice tells you, hey, turn this. And so I'm powering it up right now, and then I can select what sound I want to hear. So first I want to hear,
please turn me till the message plays.
Here's the barred owl. Listen. Oh, very cool. Okay, and I want to hear the woodpecker. Come on. Come on, girl. Here, you gotta crank it up again.
Please turn me till the message plays.
She's cold, she's been sitting out. Oh. That's amazing. I mean, that sounds exactly like a pileated woodpecker. So anyway, there's 8 different animals that you can listen to on here. It's just so fascinating. So really, we built the Botanical Trail as a place and a space where people can come up to the island with their families, with their friends, and get away from downtown, get away from it all. They can walk through this trail, spend an hour, 2 hours. There's plenty of benches, pack a lunch. You can learn a lot, get some incredible solitude, some peace and quiet, and have a great, great time up here. This is a great spot. Ferns of the forest. I love ferns, and we planted a ton of ferns all up through here that are just now popping up. It's still fairly early spring up here on the island. As you can see, a lot of stuff is just in that really young spring growth stage right now. But anyway, let's hop back on and head down to Arch Rock. So like I said, the trail leads us from Fort Mackinac to Arch Rock, and along the way the Botanical Trail splits off into these beautiful little interpretive areas where we've got all kinds of different diversity and things. And even now I'm looking out and I'm seeing a few invasive weeds and things that I don't necessarily want to see, so I'll have to send the crew up here and we'll do a comb through for the state park and get a few things cleaned up. But this is really the first summer that the Botanical Trail is going to be looking really good. It's going to have its legs. So a lot of these plantings that we put in, they say first year it sleeps, second year it creeps, and third year it leaps. And so this is the third year. So a lot of this stuff really should start filling in and looking awesome. This open section here, you can see I'm getting a lot more sunlight, and this whole bank right here has tons and tons of wildflowers that I can see are all starting to come up. It's going to be really pretty, where they get a lot of sun. And then we dive back in to this canopy here under some big birch. The forest has changed again. Now this is all birch and oak, balsam, very different than the forest just back there that was all cedar and really dark and deep. So you can imagine just the natural diversity that changes throughout. Oh, look at that big carpet of moss. So cool. So cool. It's really a stunning place to bring your family. Doesn't cost a thing. You can get up here, get some fresh air, spend a day in the Botanical Trail of the island. And so that kind of wraps up the tail end of the Botanical Trail. Now we are wrapping our way down. We just passed a sign that said caution, steep hill. So this should be fun on camera. See what happens here. It's a fun one though. It's not too steep. Just want to make sure your brakes work as you come around this sharp turn. But this sharp turn here takes us right down into the beautiful Arch Rock. And I've got to show you guys this because we're so close, we might as well, right? Check it out. And so usually in the summertime, there's like 20 carriages full of people here and tourists everywhere, but we've got the whole place to ourselves this evening, which is quite special here this evening for you all. So, Arch Rock. I've been coming out here since I was, knee high, as I grew up on the island. Before, when I was a little kid though, a lot of this, these protective measures weren't really here, and we used to climb up on the arch and everything. Don't tell my mom. But we used to climb across there and stuff when we were like little kids. It was crazy. But the island, so is made up of predominantly limestone, and the center of this arch was a softer limestone. And when the lake level, believe it or not, the lake level was this high at one time, and when it dropped, it pulled on and eroded away all that softer limestone and left this harder limestone in this incredible arch form. Native Americans that hold this island very dear and believe the island is a very, very sacred space and place, as do I and many of us, believe that this was the portal or the entry into the spirit world. And I guess I could feel that, sense that too. I can't believe I used to climb out there as a kid. I'm so scared just looking at it now. But there's this really cool viewport here where you can come out. In the summer, they usually have these little view finder things. You put the quarter in and you can look out at the view, but it's not bad even looking without them. So we're looking to the east here. This is Lake Huron and the Great Lakes. We're looking to the east, and that is Canada. Out that way, a long, long way that way is Canada. And this is the east side of Mackinac Island. Looking out as all fresh water out there for all of you international followers. That is all fresh water out there. And there's a shelf that surrounds the island. You can see the water is kind of like a light green, like a Caribbean light green around the island. It's because it's fairly shallow. And then at the end of that shelf, it drops off, and there is a very, very steep face where it drops off to, in some places, 200, 250 feet deep, straight down. Unbelievable. But anyway, glad y'all could take a little ride with me this evening, show you the beautiful Botanical Trail and Arch Rock. Highly recommend you check it out. Get up here to Mackinac Island, enjoy some time and some space and beautiful things with your friends and your family. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.